we're just going to do a little bit of review, but we're going to kind of do a part as a class, and then I'm going to give you guys a few minutes to work through some problems on your own, and then we'll go over them. And then we'll do another part as a class. Because you're going to see this stuff on a quiz today, I want everybody to have a good understanding of it. Okay? Fair enough? Feel like we can do that? Okay, so let's start here. In-class example. So everybody's on the front side of that worksheet. Percent conversions. Okay, complete each of the following problems. One of the first things we did in this unit was changing, and this was a video that you guys just watched, but decimals to percents, percents to decimals, fractions to percents, okay, and making those conversions. So I want to be able to write 1/8 as a percent. And you can use your calculator to help you with this. Anybody remember how to write 1/8 as a percent? Go ahead, Zachary.
12.5%.
It's 12.5. You're going to use your calculator and do 1. I can get my board toward here. Divided by 1 divided by 8, which is 0.125. Okay, that's a decimal, and then to change it to a percent, we have to move our decimal back 2. So it's 12.5%. Okay, and we can use our calculator to help us with that. If I want to write 25% as a decimal in part B, what's 25% as a decimal? Anybody remember? I'll make you guys do jumping jacks pretty soon. Go ahead, Zachary. 0.25. You take your decimal point and you move it back 2. And then get rid of the percent sign. 0.25. Okay? Letter C, write 40% as a fraction. Percents are always out of how much? How much are percents out of? Caleb?
100.
100. So 40% as a fraction is 40 over 100, and then we have to simplify that. Okay, I can divide 40 and 100 by 10 to get 4 over 10, and then I can divide by 2, so it's 2/5. Okay, letter D, what's 1/2 as a percent? If you don't know it, you can use your calculator. Go ahead, Caleb.
I forgot.
You can do 1 divided by 2, which is 0.5. What's 0.5 as a percent? Move your decimal back to 50%. Okay. What's 60% as a decimal? 60% as a decimal. 0.6 is what Savannah said. She is correct. Or 0.6. Okay, move your decimal back to 3/4 as a percent. Again, we can use our calculator and do 3 divided by 4, which is 0.75. So what percent is that? Go ahead, Caleb. 75%. Okay, 84% as a fraction. Okay, remember that means it's 84 over 100. Okay, I can divide by 2, which would be 42 over 50. Can I divide by 2 again? Yep. So it would be 21 over 25. So letter G would be 21 over 25. And then 9/10 as a percent. We can use our calculator and do 9 divided by 10. 9 divided by 10 is 0.9. So what percent is that? Go ahead, Caleb.
90.
90. questions on those first 8 problems? Hopefully that was a good reminder of how to do those problems. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to do the next, well, there's 16 problems there. Okay, I'm going to give you a few minutes. The first part is just like what we just did, and then there's some comparing. I would write both as percents and then compare them, and then putting them from least to greatest. Okay, so take it. Okay, let's run through these. I think people are getting close to done. Even if you're not quite done, I want you to fill in the answers as we go. I want you to stop me if there's any you have a question on. Okay, there was a few mistakes I saw as I was walking around in here. I can't see those of you at home, but fix your mistakes if you have them. Okay, so number 1 should have been 6%. And the mistake I saw some of you make is you had 0.06. Well, that's the decimal. Okay, but be careful because it said they wanted the percent. So fix that if you had it wrong. Okay, number 2, going across would have been 0.22 as a decimal. Number 3 as a decimal would have been 36%. Some of you had 0.36. You had the decimal, but it asked for a percent. Okay, number 4 as a percent is 45%. Number 5 as a decimal is 0.56. Number 6 would have been 64 over 100, which simplifies to 16 over 25. 7 is 70 over 100, which simplifies to 7 over 10. And 8 would be 80%. Any questions on 1 through 8? How I got those answers, because you're going to see questions like that on the quiz. Any questions at all? Okay, number 9, you should have had greater than, because 3/4 is 75%, and 75% is greater than 70%. Number 10 is equal. 3/5 is 60%, so they're equal. 11 is less than. 0.6 is 60%. 58% is less than 60%. 12 is less than. 0.09 is 9%. 9% is less than 15%. 13 is greater than. 2/3 is 66.6 repeating percent. And 14 is greater than. 45% is greater than 40.5%. Any questions there? Okay, and then putting them in order from least to greatest. You guys, when you're asked to do this, put them all in the same form first. I'm going to make them all percents. I have 99%. This would be 95%. 5 divided by 9 would be 55.5 repeating percent, and then 9.5%. So then when I put them in order, 9.5% comes first, then 5/9, then 0.95, and finally 99%. Okay, that would be in order from least to greatest. Number 16, as percents, 3/8 is 37.5%. 0.35 is 35%. So least to greatest would be 0.35, 3/8, 38%, and 50%. Questions there? Any questions on that front side? Anybody at home questions on that? Okay, then flip to the back side of your page. Okay, and the next thing we covered in class was mental math, some estimating and mental math with percents, right? Okay, and this was kind of hard for some of us. Okay, I'm okay if we now use the percent proportion. Okay, if you get stuck and you need to use the proportion like we were doing yesterday, you can. But here's what we had done. For letter A, when I saw 75%, I would think of that as 25%, 25%, and 25%. Because 25% is just 1/4. Agreed? Okay, and 1/4 of 60, 60 divided by 4 is 15. So 15 plus 15 plus 15, the answer there is 45. So 75% of 60 would be 45. Okay, letter B, 25% of 40. 25% is just 1/4. What's 1/4 of 40? Go ahead, Zachary.
10.
10. 40 divided by 4 is 10. And then letter C, 30% of 80. What should I start with when I want to find 30%? Start with what? Last week was a long time ago. Zachary?
10.
Start with 10%. So I need 10%, 10%, and 10%. What's 10% of 80? Remember that's 1/10, so just move your decimal over 1. 10% is 8, another 10% is 8, and another 8. 8 plus 8 plus 8 is 24. Okay, we might not do all of these, but I want you to just start by doing those first 3. See if you can figure those out. 17, 18, and 19. 10% is 5, 20%, I need 2 of those, so that'd be 10. Okay, number 18, you should have had 18. 10% of 60 is 6. I need that 3 times. 6, 6, and 6 is 18. And then number 19, 25% is just 1/4 of 48. 48 divided by 4 is 12. Okay, now we're going to skip numbers 20 through 26. We're going to skip those. So if you worked ahead and you started doing them, that's okay. Don't worry about it. We're going to skip those. Okay? Because most of you, although the mental math is good, right? We can do mental math. But many of you are just resorting to what we learned yesterday. Okay? And so, Brooklyn, especially for you who wasn't here yesterday, listen closely to this. Okay, can anybody remind me? We decided not to use the equation, right? We said we're just going to use the proportion. What did the proportion look like? Anybody remember from yesterday what that looked like? Go ahead, Zachary.
A bunch of numbers.
Okay, it is. It's a bunch of numbers. What were the words we put with those numbers yesterday? Part and whole, absolutely. So if you don't have this written down someplace, percent over 100, part over whole. Right? We talked about that yesterday. What other word did we say went with part? And what other word went with the word whole? Tyler.
Is part of is whole.
Is part of is whole. Okay? So what we did then was we took these problems and we set them up as proportions. So letter A, I'm just going to write a proportion. In letter A, do I know the percent? No, there's none of these numbers have a percent sign. So I'm going to put x over 100. We don't know the percent, so x over 100. It says of 126. Because it says of 126, where should I put the 126? Tyler? On the bottom. Because of goes on the bottom. Is 22, is goes on the top. And then we solve it. We're going to round to the nearest tenth. So 1 decimal place. Okay, meaning we multiply 22 times 10, divide by 126, and you got what, Tyler? Whoa, everything's disappearing on me. What happened? Okay, so we should get 17.5% because that one was a percent. Okay, the next one. 81 is 56% of what? Now we have a percent. I know that because it's got a percent sign, so 56 over 100. Where should I put the 81? On the top or the bottom? Tyler?
Top.
On the top. It says 81 is, and is goes on the top, x goes on the bottom. So we solve that. 100 times 81 divided by 56. And you get 144.6. Agreed? Okay. And then the last one here, 30% of 117 is what number? We know the 30% goes over 100. Should the 117 go on the top or bottom? Tyler, bottom. On the bottom. 117 goes on the bottom, x goes on the top. And we solve it. So 30 times 117 divided by 100, you get 35.1. No percent sign, right? Because it's just a number. We already knew the percent. Okay, I don't want you to do all of these problems. I want you to do 27, 29, 31, and 33. Do those 4 problems. Rounding to the nearest 10. What did you get for number 27? Ariana, what did you get?
18.2%.
She said 18.2%. I agree. Okay, you should have had x over 100, 25.7 over 141, and then solving that. Okay, number 29. Tyler, go ahead. 29 is 43%. X over 100. 46 over 107. Okay. Number 31. Lily, what'd you get?
144.0.
Yeah, 144 or 144.0. Okay, 62 is the percent. And 89.3 goes on the top because it says is. We're trying to find the whole amount. So 144. And then finally 33. Go ahead, Ariane.
62. No, 162.
162, absolutely. Okay. 270 is the percent over 100. 60, it says of 60, so that goes on the bottom, and we solve it. Okay, questions on that? Okay, we've done all the basic problems. The only thing we haven't done is word problems.